welcome back to my channel. My name is Elena and this is Elena's Knits. So it's the last week of the Canadian Cancer Society's February Knitting Challenge. So I've been taking part in this all month. I have knit every day, which is what I committed to do. Thanks so much to my supporters. This is, the last week. So if you've been on the fence, no pressure, I've met my fundraising goal, but I will put the link down below. Canadian Cancer Society does a lot of great work to support cancer research and support for people with cancer. And so that's why I was really happy that they had this challenge that was so easy for me to support. So today I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing, of course. I'm going to show you a finished object, hooray. I'll show you some things that I'm knitting on or I have been knitting on, and I'm going to show you the new book that I got in the mail and some of my favorite patterns from it. So what I'm wearing is the April cardigan by Petite Knit. So this I knit it in exactly the yarns that the sample was knit up in. So there are two from Sandnes Garn, Baby Blue, Sunday by Sandnes Garn in Baby Blue Eyes or 6043, and then the Silk Mohair in Himnablå or 6042. Karen Marie, you'll have to tell me how my pronunciation was. Last time I talked about doing some remedial Ravelrying, so this I'll have to Ravelry I'll update for next week's episode. But as promised, I put this vest in this past week. So this is something that I knit up for my daughter. She's worn it a lot and it shows no signs of wear. It's a fantastic pattern. So it's called the It's a Slip. And it's actually not, the pattern is not in Ravelry, but you can get a kit, or if you choose yarn for it, the Knitting Loft in Toronto will give you the pattern. So it's knit out of their yarns, so their own house yarns. One is Lush, so that's the fuzzy one, and it's a Surrey blend, and then Starlight, which I don't know if you can see, but it has a bit of a sparkle to it. Oop. Anyways, I don't know if that's going to focus. But both yarns were awesome to work with. The project is so cute, very wearable. My daughter wears it either right side out or inside out because the pearl side is really cool as well. So that is now up in Ravelry. Hooray! I'm getting organized slowly. It'll probably take a whole lifetime. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is my finished object. So the socks that I've been working on for the past few weeks and not loving. Loving the socks, not loving the process. So these I knit 2 at a time, using the toe up gusset sock pattern that I've talked about before, out of some yarn from my sister's stash. So I finished them. You can see, I think last time I was working on the heel. There, can I get this to focus? Honestly, my eyes are so bad now that I can't even tell if it's focused. So I finished the heel, I think last week, and then I knit a little bit of the leg, and the yarn was starting to feel light, so I thought, okay, well, I'll do some kind of ribbing for a while so that if I start to really run out of yarn, then I can cast off right away. So I did a knit 3 purl 1 rib for I think 10 rows. And I still had a bit of yarn left, but I remembered, I want to save some to use on my northeasterly blanket, which is my scrappy blanket I talked about, I think, last time. And then I decided to cast off right away. And I also did a new cast off, new to me. It's called the yarn over cast off. So you knit one and then do a yarn over and then, yarn over, knit one, and then you pass 2 over. So it's very, very elasticy. And in the instructions that I used, it recommended that you do it inside out. So I did one sock inside out and I did one sock right side out. And I like them both. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but this is the one that I did right side out. Oof, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's time for new phone, new camera, or new eyes. Yeah, that one, I don't know, it kind of flops outward, whereas the other one, I think I actually like the one knitted right side out best. Yeah. The only thing is, just to note, if you're knitting, if you do this cast off with a variegated yarn, because you're doing those yarn overs, it won't like stay in the pattern that was in place before you did the cast off row, because you're using so much yarn than in previous rows. But like when you have this much color going on, what's a little more? Just go for it. So yes, they're finished. I still have to block them and then figure out who I'm giving them to. Maybe child, maybe, we'll see. But yeah, happy to be done knitting those. Right away, pretty much, I started to knit another pair of socks, and I'll show you them. It's a bit of a sad story though. So these are also from my sister's stash. This past summer when I visited her, I helped her to organize her craft stuff, and then some things that she was gonna maybe get rid of, I scooped. So those socks were made out of some, and then this is also from some of her stash. And again, I don't remember what this was, but I remember she was really excited about this yarn, and it's something very special, and it's so soft and beautiful. It's like deep blues and greens, beautiful to knit with. So I started another toe up sock, but I was gonna use a different heel, the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I think it's called, something like that. And yes, I was gonna do it because it has a really cute name, and I've never done it before, because like that's a good reason, that's a valid reason, I think. So yeah, I was loving knitting them. I had early on like one break in the yarn, and then I knitted in the ends, and then I got up to the foot, and then it just kept happening over and over again. And so I've decided to not continue, because yeah, I can sew in the ends, but I don't know how much more this is going to happen, and I don't want a pair of socks that are not like where the yarn is a little bit weak. So yeah, that might be coming back to my sister, or it might, I don't know. And I'm not sure if it was, moths, or if it was just, it's been on her shelf for a decade at least. It seems like it should still be okay, but yeah, anyway, so those are not going to continue with me. But yeah, I did remember how much I like knitting one sock at a time with my Flexi Flips needles that are great. So I have picked back up my Frere sweater, and I finally finished that first ball of yarn. So then I started the neck, and yeah, I've got a really small circular needle in the neck right now, but I picked up just 4 more than the pattern called for around the neck, because it worked out in the instructions. You pick up, 1 stitch for every back stitch, and then 6 for every 7 around the rest of the body. So it just worked out to 4 more than, I think it was 112 or something that it called for. So, but in multiples of 4, so you could do knit 2, purl 2, ribbing. And so that went well. And I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles now. I had a bigger circular needle, but I know it's nice to see it, closer to the size that it will be, but I like to bunch up my yarn when I'm going to do a bunch of knitting. And I'm trying a new way of knitting this ribbing as well. I don't know why I'm looking for novelty so much. Maybe it's like this time of the year. But also I think I'm inspired by other knitters. So again, it is Sarah was talking in her Friday video, that's like subscribers only. But she was talking about her favorite stitch, and it's knit 2 purl 2, but she does it continental combined. So I looked up a video by Andrea Mowry about how to do that. And yeah, it's slow going for me because I knit English and I've been doing it for 30 plus years. So it's slow for me to knit continental. It's slow to knit that combined method where you kind of like on the purl, you wrap the yarn the other way, like you wrap it down and around instead of back and around. Yeah, so it's slow. I can't like read while I'm doing it, but it looks really good. Yeah, it looks really good, and I think it will be fast, and I think I'll just put in the work to get my hands used to it. But I need another project that's like brainless and I can do while I'm reading or watching something with subtitles. So the other project that I'm gonna pick back up is another Sophie scarf that I started in the summer. And so this Sophie scarf, it was the first one I ever started. Oh my gosh, this yarn is so soft. It's really incredible. Yeah, it was the first Sophie scarf I ever started. I took it up to dear friend's cottage that I've been going to ever since I was a baby. And then while I was there, it just kind of disappeared. This happens to me a lot. It's just my way. And we couldn't find it by the time we left. So I think just maybe like a couple months ago, we got it back from our friends, and yeah, so I'll pick it back up again. In the meantime, I've knit 2 other Sophie scarves that I think I've shown. So I think I'm gonna rip it back and start again, and I'm also gonna weigh the yarn, I think tomorrow, because I'm gonna pick up a new scale and weigh the yarn, and then do what I think Marlene Knit's done, as probably a lot of other people, but like knit and knit and knit, and then when your yarn weighs half of what it did at the beginning, then start the decreases to finish. But yeah, so this yarn, it's like a beautiful golden color, and it is, let me remind myself, handmaiden yarn. So that's a Canadian company, cashmere and silk, and yeah, it feels like it. It's beautiful, soft. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't wait to wear this. It's gonna be great. Yeah, so then that's what I'm knitting. And I was thinking, what's next? Well, yeah, I got really exciting mail this week. I pre-ordered this book. So it's 52 Weeks of Sweaters by Laine, which is a Finnish publishing house of like knitting patterns and knitting books and magazines. Yeah, I have like a collection of Laine magazines that, yeah, I still go back to. I'm just gonna take a little drink of water. Somebody just poked her head around, so pardon my laughing. So I'm going to talk about my 5 favorite patterns from this book. And I might be a bit clumsy because I'm going to try to block any pattern directions. Not that you would try to zoom in on them, but just to, I don't know. That's what people are doing. So the first pattern is called Abelblomst by Clara Eggers, and this is the pattern. So it's gorgeous, very colorful, cheerful, floral pattern. So it looks like there's only 2 colors for any row, so it would be like easy color work, easy fair isle. Looks like a double knitted neckband, but yeah, it looks super cheery. It's something that I would make for my daughter, I think. If she likes it, she could pick the colors maybe. And then the next one, so yeah, I'm gonna explain something. So there are so many beautiful patterns in this book. I'd kind of stopped buying pattern books because I have so many of them already. And often I like to just, buy a pattern as it's published and then knit it quickly so that I don't lose interest. But this book is just very rich in things that I would knit. And the ones that I'm liking nowadays are more, they're lighter weight, they're maybe like summer weight, or they have some lace in them so that you get some airflow. Because yeah, I am in the time of life where my body is running a little hotter. So I'm gonna just take off that sweater. Oh, actually, I'm gonna talk about the sweater again for a second though, because these buttons, I don't know if you can see, they're like a light blue on one side and then a dark blue on the other side. And I've been saving these buttons. They're like a mother of pearl. I got them in Trondheim, Norway, at this amazing store that we don't have anything like that here in Canada that I've ever seen, or we used to, but they've closed over the years. But it had so many buttons, so many beautiful trims. Sorry, I'm just getting a low battery warning, so I'll go a little quicker. Yeah, it was incredible. But yes, so every time I think about those buttons, I think about that store and my trip to Trondheim and the people I met there. Yeah, so they're very happy buttons. So I'll just go through these patterns before I run out of batteries. So the second one is called Feldberg by Ekaterina Vorobeva. And yeah, you see what I mean about airflow. It looks like it's knit with something fuzzy. Alpaca Dream DK. So wow, rare. One strand of yarn. It's very rare these days. But yeah, it's like loose, lots of positive ease, and air holes. So that seems like something I would like to wear. Easy breezy. And then the next one is really cool. I would want to see some more samples of this knit up on people with different body shapes. But it's called Kanava by Nina Holubkova. And the stitch pattern is amazing. It almost looks like a small check. It looks woven, not knitted. If I can, anyways, it looks amazing and very cool. Cool as in temperature cool, but also cool as in, cool. So yeah, I would like to knit that in that color, wear it with jeans like the model. I think it's perfect. And then, what do we have next? Some slipovers. So the first of these is called Verde by Joanna Phillip. And yeah, so it is like a vest or a slipover. It looks like it has kind of subtle button band and then these really cool pockets with a neat stitch pattern. So I think that's very wearable with like a button-up shirt as the model is wearing, or just like with a t-shirt or over a dress if it's more cropped. And then the last one of my favorite patterns is, yeah, like not something I would have picked for myself, but I'm just really drawn to this pattern and I've never seen anything quite like it before. But it's called Molly by Maya, sorry for mispronouncing your last name, Krzish. Anyways, and it's, yeah, slipover knit with soft silk mohair and merino by Knitting for Olive. And it's in this really beautiful soft pink, but I don't know if you can see or you'll have to look it up, but there's this beautiful like tulip pattern at the bottom. And I think that's so sweet. I would love to knit this for myself or my daughter or anybody. I love this. Maybe my daughter and I need matching ones. No sleeves to knit. Maybe I could knit it up quickly. We'll see. Yeah, so those are my favorite 5 patterns from this book. But yeah, there's so many more I love and would knit. Yeah, and that's everything I wanted to talk with you about today. I'll see you again next weekend. I plan to upload again on Sunday, and I am planning to record beyond February, even though the knitting channel will be, or knitting challenge, that's not the first time I've made that mistake. The knitting challenge will be over, but I'm enjoying this, so let's keep it going. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hi, one more thing. My daughter wanted to show these little pattern pieces that she's been cutting out of paper. They're from a book by Coco Wayo called, I think it's How to Draw Patterns. So if you're like doing one of their coloring books, how to draw patterns in open spaces. So she's cut out some patterns from this book and is not sure what she's gonna do with them yet. When I asked, she said she is just hoarding them for now. But maybe we could put in the comments what we think she could do with them. I was suggesting like a really cool collage, like a quilt or something. But let's see what you think. Bye.